Good Saturday evening, high school sports fans. Joe Gillaway with Lingelstown Gazette Sports live from the Orchard Street studio. And this is our High School Hoops weekly recap show. I'll be joined momentarily by our panel of experts as soon as we're done thanking those responsible for bringing you tonight's show, our Lingelstown Gazette Sports Platinum sponsors. And they are Rickabaz Electric, Payer Apparel, American Legion Post 272, Sam Hartley Decking, Modern Imprint, Hoffman Ford, Ted's Bar and Grill, The Tire Mart, Freedom Financial Wealth Management, Capital Region Insurance Agency, Tonino's Pizza, Team PA, AAU Basketball, Underdog Sports Bar and Grill, and Crystal Bob at Howard Hanna Real Estate. Thank you to these great local businesses for their continued support of Lingelstown Gazette Sports and our area student athletes. Upcoming, we're getting through these. We've done a lot of Gazette Sports Chat podcasts or interviews over the last couple of weeks, but we still have a handful left, and these are really exciting shows. Monday, 2 days from tonight, 2 nights from tonight, we have girls basketball. 4 of the top girls in the area: Ashley Berkheimer from Trinity, Sam Sembrot from Central Dauphin, Jess Hallbaker from State College, and Peyton Bayshore from Cumberland Valley. Then we have a boys basketball show a week from tonight at 6 o'clock. Same time, same day of the week, Saturday at 6. Elijah Cooper from Central Dauphin East, Tristan Crawford Jr. from Steel High, Khalif Turner from Milton Hershey, and Cam Sweeney from Hershey. Next Sunday, we'll be back to our normal day. We're doing this show tonight because of Super Bowl, but we'll be back to Sunday at 6. We have Coach Chris Bradford next Sunday. Middletown coach Chris Bradford had a great opening season in the Colonial Division, did his Blue Raiders. So he'll be our opening guest, and then we're going to recap the Mid-Penn tournament and preview the District 3 tournament. And last but certainly not least, probably last but certainly most exciting, next Sunday night at 7 o'clock, right after the Hoops recap show, we're going to jump out of that, jump back on for a Mid-Penn Conference All-Star Selection Show, a live selection show. And we're going to be joined by, we'll keep these names anonymous at this point, but 2 local media members of the media, sports writers. They both cover boys high school sports. And we're going to pick our all-star teams, our players of the year, and our coach of the year next Sunday night at 7. And then the last thing we're working on is a unified bocce show. And that's a very interesting thing. We'll get into that a little bit more as we schedule this. But I just talked to a friend of mine, Shane Griffiths. He's the unified bocce head coach over at Cumberland Valley. And he's going to get a couple of his players together. And we're looking to get like 3 different schools that have unified bocce and kind of expose our viewers to that sport and give the student athletes a chance to kind of be showcased and have a little bit of fun like we all do. So we are without our opening guest tonight. Regretfully, Coach Gene Lambert from Octorara basically called in sick. He's not feeling well, which is fine. I mean, it happens to the best of us. He just called a little while ago, so I think he probably tried to stick it out and just he said he's just not feeling well at all. So we wish Coach Lambert, we thank him for agreeing to do it. Wish him well tomorrow night. They have the opening of the York County basketball tournament, and they play right out of the gate. They play Warwick. So good luck to Coach Lambert and his Octorara Braves. I also did reach out to Nolan Bazolka from Cumberland Valley, but that was just about 15, 20 minutes ago, asking him if he wants to jump in with us for a little bit. A lot going on in the Nolan Bazolka world. He just committed to a college. His boys, his basketball team's doing really well over at Cumberland Valley, and it's an exciting season for them. So if he jumps in, and we can definitely chat with him for a little bit. If not, I have Dave Berman and John Velios here tonight. And there are 2 of our regular guests. We're kind of really down men. We're down men tonight, aren't we, guys? We're without Ty Savercool, who's kind of one of our anchors for sure. But we're going to give it a go here. And let's start with the way we started last week, guys. A little bit of housekeeping. How's that? Kind of like some miscellaneous stuff. We're going to mention Susquehanna Township have won 6 straight, including Steel High, Milton Hershey, Bishop McDevitt, and Dallastown, a 6A school. They were 12-9 going into that game, Dallastown. So they've had some big wins. I think they play played Boiling Springs either today, earlier, or tonight. Dave, if you could pull that up,
Yes,
see if
that's one thing I can do for you guys.
Okay, Susquehanna Township and Boiling Springs. They play.
Okay, this is on. They'll play Monday.
Monday. Okay.
Boiling Springs.
All right. So, yeah, Susquehanna Township. Hats off to them, Coach Avery Cloud and his crew. Big Spring also. They've won 9 of 10 since they got Brexton Heckerdorn back. I've mentioned that a few times, but I just think it's a great story that they kind of, I don't want to say sputtered out of the gate, but they just weren't playing Big Spring basketball for the first half of the season. But they're back on track in a big way. Reading, Dave. That's sad, right? John, I think we all probably wanted Reading to make the District 3. I think they're going to.
Right now they're sitting at number 18. The top 16 go. So it looks like they don't have a chance to get inside 16 and under. So
no, and
they made a nice push here at the end of the year, and hats off to them for doing that after a rough start.
They beat some good teams too. They beat Central Dauphin and more. I just know that game just because I knew I was watching some of it. But yeah, they won some big games and they just kind of ran out of real estate, ran out of teams to beat.
And honestly, guys, I mean, we know a lot about basketball, and they're probably better than a bunch of these teams that are going to make the playoffs in 6-7.
Absolutely, there's no doubt about that.
But they're not going to make it, and that's just how it goes.
Yeah,
The key was getting their 9 transfer. Blake Adams was eligible finally, maybe a month ago. Middle of January,
maybe 10 or 11 games ago. I think they won like every game except Berks Catholic since he's been back. I mean, he's really energized that team, and he probably gave him something just like that. Brexton Heckerdorn, he was the big guy that Big Spring needed back. Maybe Reading needed a big, a power forward or a center, probably a center with his size. But anyway, I'm glad that Reading was able to make a push and play Reading basketball for the last month or so of the season. So here's some games from this past week.
Joe, real quick, Joe, if I could mention that, because we were talking about this earlier, Joe. Yeah. Coach Tim Bean and Paul Myra, they're sitting at 16 and 5A right now.
Yes, they are. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. Yep. And they have not a big cushion, but I think most of the games are done, and that's something else we're going to talk about.
Okay.
That's okay. I'm glad you brought it up, though, because we're Tim Bean fans, and we hope that Paul Myra makes it for sure. So
they got a tough one coming up, guys. A tough one. They got Redland. Don't sell them short.
Paul Myra?
Yep.
Yeah, that's that could be a challenging game. That's a big game, So State College 67, Central York 62.
What a win for State College.
Oh my. I don't even know what to say about that. Except that State College, even in their down years, they seem to put up some.
They've played people tough all year long, Joe.
Yeah.
I mean, they almost beat CD. They almost beat who else? Did they almost beat
CD?
Valley?
Well, at least just last week they almost beat CD. Yeah.
Yeah.
2.5 hour drive for Central York. I'm not making excuses, but certain things can contribute. 2.5 hour drive for Central York. Maybe some home cooking officials up there, Dave, right?
You can't say that.
More about
maybe
College. I know that nothing against Mifflin County, but it's pretty much the same group of guys.
Yeah, that's home cooking.
Knit community. State College, you got the guys from Center County.
Yeah, less cooking.
I mean, that's a non-conference game for Central York. They obviously scheduled. It's a Commonwealth game, so, and they don't play many Commonwealth teams throughout the year, do they, Joe?
No,
Central York?
No, maybe Cumberland Valley. I think they've played Central Dauphin before, not this year.
Their only other loss was a
Upper St. Clair.
Upper St. Clair.
You're good. Great point, Dave. Their 2 losses came on a 3.5 hour drive and then a 2.5 hour drive. And look, there's a great chance that there was no home cooking officiating up there. Okay, we like to play around with that.
Like State College trips. The games I announced up there, they seem pretty good.
My understanding is that State College shot really well, and it's hard to beat a team that's shooting really well.
But then they had a letdown. And they lost to Central Dauphin the next game.
Who's that?
State College.
Yeah, but by 6. So yeah.
And then today they were supposed to play Erie McDowell, but they were worried about the weather, so State College did not make the trip to Erie. So State College has 2 games left to play. Mifflin County lost today to Lower Dalton. So Mifflin County is now 8-12. They have 2 games left with Altoona, who's 2-20.
You said 12-10, Dave. That's not going to happen, buddy. Remember 2-3 weeks ago, you said you were looking at 12-10 for your Huskies.
Last year they went, and then they played Midwest, who's a 4A school. Midwest is 2-17, and but the game is in the middle.
They ought to be able to bring that one home.
What's that?
They ought to be able to bring that one home.
Are they from Iowa, Midwest?
Snyder County, up not that far from you, John.
Never heard of it.
Okay, so let's kind of jump through some of these other games. West York 63, Middletown 59. Middletown's kind of they haven't been playing as well. Now West York's a good team, but they're heading into the Mid-Penn tournament here on Tuesday, weather permitting. So hopefully Coach Chris Bradford and Aleel Batts and his teammates can be ready for that matchup with Trinity on Tuesday.
Joe, you want to mention those matchups are, the Mid-Penn tournament?
At Central Dauphin, for those that like to get out, even if you don't watch much basketball live, go out and watch these games. Central Dauphin High School, you have Trinity boys versus Middletown boys and Trinity girls versus Middletown girls.
So Trinity doubleheader.
Trinity Middletown doubleheader. At Central Dauphin East, you have Mechanicsburg boys against Cumberland Valley and Mechanicsburg girls against Altoona.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And those are both Tuesday night, Joe?
Both Tuesday. And I think the way it works, I remember a few years ago, if the weather's not good, there will just be no tournament. That's the way they do it because there's no time left. You can't really fit it in unless you get done by Thursday.
Are they predicting weather that night?
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm not trying to be that guy that's, it's weather permitting. So Susquehanna Township, I mentioned, they beat Dallastown by 9. That was their 6th straight win. Palmyra 47.
Televised game, Joe. We got to see some of it. Susquehanna looks really good.
They do. They look good.
They're 13-7 on the year. One of their better years in recent memories. And hats off to head coach Avery Cloud in his first year, Joe. Second year. Coach
Cloud, and we don't know who's going to win these Linglestown Gazette Sports All-Star next week. We really have no clue because we're going to talk about it. But Coach Cloud's definitely going to be in the running for Capital Division Coach of the Year. And we just like what he's done. I know I do, and I'm sure we all do. Palmyra 47, Hershey 45.
Big win.
Big win. There's another guy who's going to be in the mix for Coach of the Year, Tim Bean, in his second year. His Cougars, I believe, Palmyra, they were picked to finish dead last. Last season, I think they won like 5 games, and they're 13-7, something like that. They're 9-12. Oh, you just said Susquehanna Township was 13.
Right.
But still, I mean, they're holding
much improved.
Yeah, much improved. So, Reading 68, Governor Mifflin 64. I only mentioned that because at that point, which was this past Tuesday, Reading had moved to 500 on the season for the first time all year to 11-11. And that's where they still sit. That was their last game of the regular season of the season. How about this one? Waynesboro 58, Middletown 42. And that was Middletown's 3rd straight loss. They lost to Northern York, West York, and Waynesboro. Cumberland Valley 85, Central Dauphin East 36. East finishes 6-16. Just not kind of heading in the direction that everybody's hoping they would be.
That's not even a competitive game right there.
No. So Linville Hill Christian, John, you texted me, or we texted together, a bunch of us. They pulled that game out against Berks Catholic. Remember
That's a big
Linville
win.
Hills. What are they? They're 2A.
They're 2A, but they're 18-2. I mean, they're
20-2. Yeah. So that was Coach Snip Esterly's and his team's first loss in a while. So I'm sure Coach knows how to get them ready for this upcoming tournament.
I think that's their 4th loss of the year, Joe, but they're still number 1 in the power rankings. Berks Catholic.
Berks Catholic. Yes, you're right, John. 17-4. And how about Big Spring 64, Dave? Trinity 54. Man, Coach Jason Creek, he got those boys playing well.
It shows you the public schools can beat the private.
Well, that's one of the things that shows you for sure.
Joe, didn't they just beat McDevitt by a lot too?
Like 29. John, when they're healthy, they're playing good ball.
I mean,
remember I worked that game for Penn Live like 5 weeks ago. Remember I told you I was like, boy, I think McDevitt might have something here.
Yeah.
And McDevitt did play well that night. I'm not going to deny that, but Big Spring just wasn't ready to show up for big games without they're big, you know.
But now that they're healthy, I mean, that's 2 big wins right there.
That's 2 big wins.
That has to have them in the conversation for a chance to win districts like they almost did last year.
I would think so. They are where are they sitting? Big Spring.
You know, I can save you time by look at Big Spring.
They're sitting at number 4.
Number 4 in the power rankings.
Yeah.
Right ahead of Susquehanna.
So one of our favorite coaches, Jason Creek, who was on the show a while back, doing well. Then we got just a few more here. Chambersburg over Carlisle, 54-43. You know, Chambersburg's just had a quiet, kind of sneaky, really good Commonwealth Division season. You know, let's talk about the Big Four, where they finished in the Commonwealth. Cumberland Valley, 12-2. Central Dauphin, 12-2. Only 2 losses, both to Cumberland Valley. Chambersburg, 11-3. You go 11-3 in the Commonwealth, especially, John, you know this, especially when you can get blindsided by like a Harrisburg or a State College. You know what I mean? You have to win a lot of games against the top teams, and then you have to knock off those teams too. And then Carlisle kind of fell a little bit, 8-6. So that was a tough season tough kind of a gauntlet for all those teams. York High, 49. Eastern York, 44. York's another team. They're kind of like Reading, where they started a little late. They got that transfer, Dave. You know about him, the William Penn transfer. Only they were able to start winning sooner than Reading. 8 straight wins for York High. 12 of their last 13. They're sitting at number 10. They were on the outside looking in just a few weeks ago of the power rankings. They could go up to number 9. Unionville, 66. Steel High, 39. Unionville's a 5A team, but they're kind of in a little bit of a down year this year. They gave Central Dauphin a tough game last year.
Still dangerous. They got a great coach in Chris Coles, and just like District 3, District 1, anybody can beat anybody, guys. And you'll see. You've been seeing it in the last couple of weeks, too.
Right. And then the last one.
Unfortunately, Steel High's pretty much been eliminated from playoff.
They're eliminated. Yeah. That's been decided. That was decided a few weeks ago. Really, we were kind of.
I appreciate Rashad coming on our show and trying his best.
He's a realist. I mean, yeah, he knew he had some work to do there, and he doesn't make excuses. And we're talking about Rashad Macon. And then the last one I have here is Waynesboro 62, Carlisle 55. Huge upset, Waynesboro last night. Carlisle's lost 3 of 4. They also lost to Harrisburg during those 4 games and Chambersburg. And they're number 13 now, Carlisle. And, you know, as good as they are, I still think they're a good team. I think they can beat just about anybody. They just blew out Cumberland Valley a couple weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago. Last season, they would not have made the playoffs because there was only 12 teams in 6A that got in last year. So that's that. That's kind of the recap of some of the kind of more attractive games. If you want, Dave, let's move on to Dave Berman, the voice of Delco, of course. But what do you got? Some District 1 for those at home that don't know. District 1 is Philadelphia, the city. District 12 is suburban Philly, and then Dave's also a District 6 guru. Where do you want to start, Dave?
Well, District 6 is pretty much, we touched on it earlier. It's going to be Mifflin County State College in the District 6 6A championship. And the winner of that will probably play Erie McDowell in that sub-regional. This year, though, last year they let the District 6 champ in the state tournament. And Erie McDowell, they played one game. They played a championship game and they got in. I mean, really didn't have to work hard for it. This year, the District 6 champ in 6A will play District 10. The winner of that game, only one team goes to the state.
So it's a play-in game, basically.
It's fair. Between both districts, there's only 4 combined District 6 6A teams.
Okay.
You can fact check me on that.
I don't need to, buddy.
Okay. So anyway, and then 5A, who knows? Keep an eye on Johnstown.
Johnstown.
Undefeated first regular season, first time since 1973 when their star player got, you remember, Joe, Pat Cummings, who eventually went to play for the New York Knicks. Yeah?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Pat Cummings.
Johnstown played. We have feedback. Does either of you have anything on?
No.
Try turning off. Let's try one at a time. We had to do this the other night. Try turning off your microphone once, John. This is how we figured it out the other night. Now there's no feedback. Somehow, that's okay, John. You can put it back on. We can't hear you now.
My mic's mute. Oh, now it's okay.
No, it's coming from John's, and it's probably not something that you're playing. You know, it's just the other night we had some girls wrestlers on, and there was feedback, and they weren't purposely doing anything. So yeah, Johnstown. Remember they played Steel High. It's been a bunch of years now.
2005.
2005 for the state champ. That game was kind of over before it got started, really. But anyway,
I announced one of their games that year, the 2005 PIW, the District 6 championship game with Old Indian Valley High School.
Okay, all right.
Played that. So yeah, it was a blowout. Steel High, congrats to them. 20th anniversary.
Yeah, that's true. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So all right, anyway, you want to get into the District 1?
Whatever you want to do, man. Hey, okay. you have teams down there you want to talk about? John, you can put your mic back on.
You can hear me, right? Okay.
I can hear you.
Tomorrow, the official brackets come out, but I'll give you 20 out of the 6A District 1 6A teams. We have a total in the District 40. Too many go. 24 are in the top 24 they take. So let's, and sometimes that 24th team causes problems when they get to this, if they can get in there and qualify for the states. Anyway, Lower Merion is number 1 with a record of, now, regular season record 18-4. Number 2 is Coatesville, regular season record 17-5. Number 3 is Conestoga, 17-5. These are all regular season records. So some of these teams are in like a tournament, like you guys have up there, the Mid-Penn tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Garnet Valley, number 4, 17-5. Plymouth Whitemarsh, number 5, 16-6. Number 6 is Central Bucks South, 17-5. You see the parity here, guys?
Yeah, there's not much difference between, I say it every year. There was a number 11 seed in girls 6A a handful of years ago that ended up losing in the state championship. I think the semis or state championship by a shot. So you just never know.
So John, basically, to save a lot of, you want me to keep? I'll go every team.
No, we don't want to go 24 deep on that.
Let me give you the top 10 in District 1 5A. Upper Dublin is loaded. They're 21-1. Their only loss, first game of the year in a close game to Lower Merion, who's the number 1 team in 6A down here. Okay, so Upper Dublin is favorite. We have Pencrest is number 2. They're from Delco. Upper Moreland 18-4. Pottsgrove 20-2. Marple Newtown 16-6. Springfield Delco 15-7. Holy Ghost Prep 14-8. 8th is Sun Valley 18-4. Chichester 12-10, and Springfield Montgomery County 12-10. So they in District 1 you get 12 teams. So yeah, I tell you, guys, it's just anything can happen down here, and it's just going to be a lot of fun to see how everything plays out.
It doesn't get quite as crazy up here, John. What do you think? I mean, I don't want to say it's totally cut and dried, but usually the teams that are supposed to win do. So
yeah, I mean, it's not cut and dry to win each division. Commonwealth, Keystone, Capital, Colonial, and then you get to the Mid-Penn tournament, which is our version of a tournament or playoff before we get into districts. Yeah,
it's just a 2-night tournament. Tuesday,
those games
Thursday.
are pretty predictable. I mean, in all honesty,
let's talk about. You want to talk about that?
I want to talk about Mid-Penn tournament.
Okay, let's do it.
I really would love to see how Mechanicsburg would match up with
Cumberland Valley,
right?
Cumberland Valley.
So who are the other two that got in?
Trinity and Middletown.
Okay.
The winner is coming out of the Cumberland Valley Mechanicsburg game. John, what do you think?
I mean, not necessarily. Honestly, Cumberland Valley's got to be the favorite, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. In Mechanicsburg, 5-second favorite.
Absolutely.
But if Mechanicsburg can upset Cumberland Valley and Trinity beats Middletown, I could see Trinity upsetting Mechanicsburg. That's my opinion.
Okay. All right.
But definitely Cumberland Valley and Mechanicsburg are the favorites.
Yeah,
the winner
that's kind of like
is going to be the favorite against the winner of Trinity and Middletown for sure.
Kind of like the championship game being played in the first round. I think almost every season, the Keystone and the Commonwealth teams are the best two.
Right. So they alternate years. Okay. So next year it'll be who? Commonwealth versus Capital, let's say.
There's 3 different scenarios.
Right.
So every third year you're back to, but I'm excited to see Middletown in there on the boys and the girls side because they haven't been in there in a while. I don't know how long it's been since. I think the girls probably have never been in there.
The boys were in recently. I think they won the Capital a couple years ago.
They tied with Trinity.
Oh, and then Trinity went.
I think Trinity went, because of the tiebreaker. But
how old were you guys in '68 when Middletown won the state title?
2. Dave Twardzik.
Negative.
Dave Twardzik, who ended up winning a NBA championship with Portland.
All right, John Elliott, who did Dave Twardzik win the NBA championship with?
I have no idea.
If I were you, John, I would say the Portland Trailblazers in 1977 over Philadelphia.
I like Portland.
They had 2 other Pennsylvania guys. Actually, so many Pennsylvania guys. They had 2 other players from Pennsylvania on that team, and
just the power forward.
Pittsburgh Shenley, 71 state champs over Norristown.
Oh God, that's a good one.
Maurice Lucas.
Maurice Lucas is what I was thinking.
The big fight with the And the other one is in your backyard, Joe, from Penn Manor High School, Millersville.
Who was that?
Wally Walker.
Oh man, I never would have gotten that one.
Yep, he was on that team. Dave
Wow. And Bill Walton.
Bill Walton from, I forget where, California guy. And the head coach from Delaware County, Upper Darby, Jack Ramsey.
Yeah, Jack Ramsey.
The assistant coach, the Pride of Chester, and St. James High School, Jack McKinney.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah,
so, and I'll just mention, like on the girls' side, I know this isn't a girls' show, but
we got to pump up the girls. I love it.
I love girls basketball, but Altoona with their first opportunity to win a Mid-Penn tournament in Altoona girls now, and they will. They're so good. And listen, with respect to all the other teams, Mechanicsburg, Trinity, and Middletown, if one of those teams can knock off Altoona, you've really done something. Believe me. I think Altoona is a top 3 to 5 team in the state in 6A. I think so.
Well, you know what? I'm going to give you the latest ratings. You guys keep talking. I'm going to give you what the Pittsburgh Tribune Review had to.
They have to have Altoona in the top 5. They do 5, right? They do the top 5. Okay, so let's wrap up with this power rankings, and let's just go straight to 3A. 1A, we have no local schools in 1A. Steel High, we mentioned, they're out of it, so we're not going to have any local schools in 2A. And then 2 local schools. Only one's a Mid-Penn school, but Trinity's at number 2, John, in 3A. And then Halifax, 19-3. All they've done is win, win, win. And they're going to have a chance probably to Trinity's close to Lancaster Mennonite. I don't know if there's any chance for those.
Do they have any tournament for the Tri-Valley League, Joe? They don't have anything.
No.
So Halifax plays out of the Tri-Valley League in the Liberty division, right?
Well, Liberty just in football, I believe. There's no Liberty in basketball.
Well,
that's a football division. Yeah. So if they're ever playing any Mid-Penn schools, it's just an out of league game. But there's a really good chance that Trinity and Halifax will meet up
in the district playoffs.
In the semifinals. And then moving to 4A, here's who we have in there. Big Spring at 16-5. Susquehanna Township, Big Spring's number 4. Susquehanna Township's number 5. And at 7 is Boiling Springs. At 8, McDevitt snuck in there or earned their way in. I don't want to say snuck, but they were I think they were on the outside looking in last week, John, weren't they?
They were in 8 last week also, but they had a pretty comfortable margin. Now I don't know how close it is this
it's over. The Susquehanna is not going to pass them.
So we have a handful of local schools in 4A.
Four
making it to the playoff. Yeah.
4 of 8 are from the mid-pen.
And then a friend from Berks Catholic, Snip Easterly's
Easterly, yeah. Yep, he's on top. 17-4. No bad losses. You know, he loses games, but they're the good teams. And
Halifax played them well, didn't they, Joe?
Yeah.
Wasn't that a close game for a while?
I believe it was. It might have ended up to be like 12, but still, that's not.
Because I remember talking when we spoke with the coach from Halifax, he said that they were, they were right with Berks Catholic, like all the way through, like halfway through the fourth quarter, neck and neck.
It was an 8-point game.
Yeah.
And you figure Halifax might have fouled down the stretch. It might have been closer than that,
So Halifax has a shot in 3A if they're competing with the best in 4A.
I think so. How about 5A? We have lots of 5A teams. We're up here, Dave. We have 5A teams like you have 6A teams down there in District 1. Manheim Central is number 1.
You have what, 16 go, right?
In 5A and 6A.
5A?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, we had just 12 go in District 1 and 24 more than you in 6A. So.
Right. So our highest 5A ranked team is Hershey, 18-3. And then we have Milton Hershey at number 7. Hershey's number 2, I'm sorry. Milton Hershey at number 7. Middletown number 9. Northern York number 10. Lower Dauphin number 11. East Pennsboro 14. And then Palmyra, who John mentioned earlier, is at 16. Comfortably, it looks like at 16, going to make the postseason. So, we have a lot there. And then 6A, Mechanicsburg is at number 2, right behind Central York. Here's something interesting. If Mechanicsburg and Cumberland Valley win in the first couple rounds in district tournament, they'll play again. They'll play in the semifinals. They're going to play Tuesday night, again, weather permitting, in the mid-pen tournament, and they have a really good chance of playing in the it would be in the Final Four if things finish kind of like status quo. It would be Central York against Chambersburg. That's 1-4, and then Mechanicsburg and Cumberland Valley is 2-3. So Cumberland Valley is number 3, Chambersburg number 4, Central Dauphin number 6. That loss to Reading kind of hurt Central Dauphin power rankings wise. I'm not going to say anything about the Cumberland Valley loss because that's a tough game and they just lost the game to I think a better team. But yeah, the Reading game kind of maybe stung a little bit. And then the only one after that is Carlisle at 13. So that's that. These are unofficial. They're close to being official. The
regular season ends when, Joe?
Well, you could play up until Tuesday.
This Tuesday, the 11th.
Yeah.
This Tuesday, the 11th.
Ours is done District 1. So.
Well, there's a lot of teams that are done up here.
Our brackets will come out tomorrow. So just the District 1 website's awesome. All right, can I give you the rankings in the girls?
In the girls? What girls?
You have
what, 6A?
State ranking.
Oh yeah. Let's do that. We have a few minutes. Let's talk about statewide. Yeah.
All right. This is as of Thursday. Okay.
6A, right?
6A, yes.
Yeah.
Hazelton number 1 undefeated.
Wow.
Garnet Valley, our team down here, 21-1. Red Lion with our buddy Don Dimoff.
They're the number one ranked team in District 3. I think maybe the third or fourth best team though. But go ahead.
Perkiomen Valley is fourth in the state according to the Pittsburgh Tribune Review. And Mechanicsburg is fifth.
Okay.
So not in there. O'Hara and Archbishop Carroll 6A. They both have they play a nasty schedule, league and non-league. They're going to be a factor also. They won the state championships combined with 4 straight years.
I don't think that whoever does that out there, I don't think they consult anybody from out our way.
They're just looking at numbers.
I think they look at numbers. I think they look at records,
power rankings,
right, stuff like that. And
who would you disagree on that?
I don't want to get into it right now.
Yeah.
We got into it last week, and I just don't feel like getting into it. And I'm not just upset because I think Altoona is really good and they're not in there. I just don't know if that's. I mean, they're probably right about their own teams. They can. You said the Tribune. Who is that, Dave?
They kind of slant a little bit towards Western PA, but not here. These are all Eastern teams and 6A girls. Real quick, I want to give you 5A girls because you have South Fayette, Pittsburgh, number 1. Peters
They're
Township,
really good.
number 2. York Suburban, number 3. York Suburban. Gwynedd Mercy down here, very tough. A private school, and but they're PIAA and they're non-Philadelphia Catholic. Hollidaysburg is 5th in the state.
Hollidaysburg, and I think Altoona just beat them pretty good, but that's 6A versus 5A. South Fayette beat Altoona girls the first game of the season by like 20 or 30, like by a lot. So they have to be really good. Aren't they the defending state champs, Dave? South Fayette? Either one last year or the year before.
So hang on, let me see. Good. South, pick it up for you. You guys keep talking right there.
We don't have much more, Dave.
Well, let me look this up here on the PIAA website. And
South Fayette.
I know last year the Philadelphia Catholic League dominated the state tournament last year.
I could have sworn South Fayette won it last year.
Joe, just
I think they were runner-up.
Yes.
You might want to post the games and where they're at for the mid-pen for our viewers.
Yes. No, you're absolutely right.
Is anybody live streaming them, Joe, you think?
The finals will be High School Sports Live. Charlie Fortney, his crew. I think
all right,
boys
you ready
and
for
girls.
This, guys?
Yes.
Okay, last year in 6A, Cardinal O'Hara beat Springford 42-26. In girls 5A, Archbishop Wood, they're going to win it again this year, beat Erie Prep 37-27 girls. Blackhawk beat Scranton Prep in 4A 56-44. Lancaster Catholic beat Westmont from District 6 56-39. Kennedy Catholic beat Marion Center by 2. And Bishop Guilfoyle beat Mountain View 35-17. Oh, I thought more Catholic League teams won it last year. It was the year before. Anyway.
Here we go, Dave. South Fayette won the state championship 2 years ago in 5A.
5A.
They beat Archbishop Wood. I remember I was down there watching the game, and they had South Fayette had a star.
No, Archbishop Wood beat them.
Oh, okay.
Archbishop Wood beat him 61-54.
All right.
Archbishop Carroll beat Cedar Cliff, undefeated Cedar Cliff, 43-36.
Yes.
There you
go. All right.
All right.
Guys, thank you. Sorry we missed Coach Lambert. Hopefully he feels better. And just a reminder, next week at this time, only a day later, Sunday, back to Sunday, we're going to do 2 different shows. We're going to do this show, which again is called the High School Hoops Recap Show. That's going to be 6 to 7, or we'll probably cut out right before 7. Then we're going to jump back on and do our Mid-Penn Conference All-Star Selection Show. It'll be Dave, John, Ty Saver, Cool, and myself, and 2 local sports writers. Again, these guys are 2 of the top guys in the area, and they know what they're talking about. And hopefully we can get some good all-star.
Any predictions for the Eagles?
What's that?
And Joe, real quick, the first show at 6:00 will be featuring Coach Chris Bradford.
Yes, thank you, John. Yeah, Coach Bradford. He seems excited to join us, and there's a lot to talk about with Middletown boys basketball. That's for sure. Dave, go ahead, buddy. You were saying?
John, who's going to win? Chiefs or the Eagles?
Go Eagles.
Chiefs win it 23-20, Joe, in overtime.
Oh boy. Okay. Yep. That's not a bad. I can't argue with that.
Can't go against.
All right. Let's thank our sponsors: Rickabaz Electric, Payor Apparel, American Legion Post 272, Sam Hartley Decking, Modern Imprint, Hoffman Ford, Ted's Bar and Grill, The Tire Mart, Freedom Financial Wealth Management, Capital Region Insurance Agency, Tonino's Pizza, Team PA, AAU Basketball, Underdog Sports Bar and Grill, Crystal Bob at Howard Hanna Real Estate. For John Velios and Dave Berman, I'm Joe Gilloway. We'll see you Monday night when we have 4 of the top local girls basketball players on. That show is going to start at 8:00. Good night, everyone. Go Eagles.